Miss with Being Creative with Miss, and I made it. You won't believe what I did. Anyway, we are going to paint a really fun stencil tonight. It is a Valentine snowman, but you can make it just a regular snowman. It doesn't have to be Valentine's Day, but it is perfect for Valentine's Day. You can personalize it and make it your own, as well as just leave it kind of generic. So it is a really fun with some cute options. So I'm excited about it. So I have my board all base painted and ready. So I'm going to do it on this straight wood slice. And the one I did my sample on is round. So you can use either one. Now, most craft stores have wood slices. These came from Hobby Lobby last week. They were 40% off, so I'm sure next week they will be again. Walmart also had them. I grabbed one at Walmart too. So, but these both came from Hobby Lobby. This one was 8 something and 40% off, which isn't bad at all. And this one's a little bigger, and it was 11 and 8 and 40 off. So, really, really cute way. I just thought the tree looked like using a tree slice looked neat because I was kind of featuring the tree. So this stencil has a heart on it. Now, if you wanted to just leave the heart off, you can and just make it a really cute winter snowman. But if you want to do it Valentine's Day, with the stencil comes the lettering love. So you can just put love in there. But the reason why I love the stencil and wanted it so much is Mark and I have always just liked the carved trees and stuff. And I think I told you that. And Zach and Shiloh have a carving in our woods on a tree over there right before they got married. They have their names in a tree. But I had bought this for Mark. This is actually our anniversary, our dating anniversary, not our wedding anniversary. But this is just a print that I have. But this is, I just love that. So I thought that would be really fun, to duplicate. So I would like to put our name on ours. So I just copied the heart on, I don't know if you can see that, on just tracing paper, and I was writing out how I wanted it. So I'm going to personalize ours. You could just do a date, a year, initials like M+M or something like that. Like, it doesn't have to be a name. So just very fun. And this is the size small, this is stencil I'm using, but you can get it bigger. So anyway, that's fine. But like, I know my dad passed away at 49 and she never remarried. And she didn't really like Valentine stuff. I think even if they had something at church and it was supposed to be for everyone, she always felt funny about going and she didn't go, like if it was a dinner or something. So like, she would love this because she loves snowmen, but she probably would have just left the heart off and just used it as a cute winter snowman. I love his little hat and the scarf, but he has, little cardinals here and a birdhouse, and you can just change it to any color you want. So, I just think it's really neat. So anyway, but I added snow down here, and of course, glittered it. And, this is the, modeling paste, just thicker, so it looks like snow sitting in the tree and on top of the birdhouse roof. So just little things like that add to it, and like the real pom-pom, and it's all sparkly. So anyway, that's fun. So that's what we're gonna do tonight. So my wood keeps chipping off the side, but I really, really like the look of the wood slice. I really do like that. On the background, I use Sky Mist. Of course, you can use anything you want. I used just straight Sky Mist. I didn't even add white to it, which is not normal for me. Like, usually I would add a little white to it, but I didn't. So that is, I think, everything I needed to say. Very fun Stencil 3. It has 2 different overlays. Which make it really easy, just like all other stencils. But you can leave a little room here at the bottom. This one has plenty of room, so you don't need to worry about it much. If you're doing the oval, I just kind of brought it down a little bit And then I just use the modeling paste, you know, on the bottom. So it's just really, really, really a fun stencil. That would be such a great gift. Even a wedding gift, like a winter wedding, that would be really fun with someone's initials in it or the date, just their year. That would be super fun. And I just think it's really neat. I love the fact that it can be personalized. So anyway, I'm going to drop this down a little bit because I think since this one, I can't do it on the round one, but this one I can tie a little jute around the top and, you know, like add like a heart up there or something. You can have fun doing that. So those are all good options. So I just put espresso as your brown. We're going to make it, we're going to use black and brown and kind of darken that up. But if you have a darker, you know, it's like a burnt umber or something like that, you can use it. But I use this espresso a lot. Like you can just, I use a lot of the same really basic colors. And if you've been around a while, you absolutely know that. So you can mix a lot of colors. You can just get a darker value or a lighter value. So I'm just adding some black to that because I want a darkened brown. And then we're going to dry brush it and stuff like that, which really makes the tree look pretty. I'll show you the other one up close here in a minute. So let me show you again. So you can see this tree, how it has, you know, like the lines and stuff. And I just did all that with the dry brush. So it's cute. So who got this stencil? Did any of you buy it? Oops, I'm not seeing comments. There you go. Oh, Rena said she bought it. Oh, Tracy, it would be. I didn't. That would be really cute. Yeah, I think he did see it. He didn't see the initials in it, so I am going to put the initials and put it downstairs with a Valentine arrangement. And I think it'll be cute. Yeah. So, cute. I was flying trying to get this thing dry. I don't even think I got it really cleaned all the way. I think I left a rim on it just because I couldn't believe I did that. I'm glad I did it before I went ahead and punched that live button. I just glanced because I'd put my stencil right here. Oh my word. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Don't answer that. That could have lots of answers. Okay. So I'm going to use a sponge for these larger areas, and Janice said she did. So we're going to start with, I'm going to get a paper towel. We're going to start with, which is basing in some of that darker brown. I'm going to cover a few of these. I didn't really have any trouble when I did it, except for a couple places I ended up getting it, but I did pretty good for me. So we're just going to go in that dark brown value and kind of blot it off. And then just start filling in. So I'm going to kind of start in the middle, more solid, because I'll use up some of the paint. And then as I go out toward the edge, then I won't have as much paint, because I don't want it to bleed. That's usually the biggest thing, is if you get some bleeding, it's because usually it's too much paint. In my case, especially on a live, it is because I'm hurrying so fast. I worry so much about time and all that, you know, like trying to hurry and keep things moving. And that's, I generally make, I feel like I make a lot of mistakes online. But just, you know, kind of take your time and make sure you upload your paint and then offload it. And then just hold these places down, because you have a lot of little limbs. there. So just kind of hold those sections down with your hand as you go into each section. So it's like a really, really cold here. It's supposed to get really cold tonight, which I know some of you, when I say something about, oh, it's really hot here in the summer, a lot of you will be like, I live in Texas or wherever you live, like we're Arizona, wherever, like it's 105 today. And then I'm like, oh. But so I know a lot of you have live in places that are really cold all the time, or, you know, like 0 degrees isn't that big of a deal. But yeah, we're supposed to get pretty cold. Like we're on a 2-hour delay again tomorrow. They were today as well, and yesterday. So anyway, so Noah will be here at 8:20 tomorrow. So he was excited, you know, like Megan had 2 weeks off for Christmas break, and then they'd been off a week because of snow. They'd never gone back, so he was excited to come. Like, he had been down once and stayed with us just so we could see him during Christmas break. Of course, we had seen him for Christmas get-togethers and stuff like that. But last week we didn't really, because we're walking in and out, so we hadn't seen him. But he was excited to come play with all his toys here. He was really excited. I think he was excited to see me. I think he was really excited to see Mark. He's all about his grandpa, but he was excited. So it was cute. So Mark met Megan at the top and carried him down, and all under a blanket and bundled up. But it was cute. It was good to have him. He was just a little angel all day. So anyway, okay, so this tree looks fairly dark, but we will lighten it up. So I'm just tapping around and going back and filling it in again. And then we will tap in some lighter color, just the espresso color. And then the dry brush will do the other work for us. So I didn't do a whole lot of shading on this. The Snowman is shaded and stuff, but I kind of did a lot of tapping around with either a stencil brush or a dry brush to get variations, which is nice if you hate to shade. Okay, so now I'm going to go with a different sponge, and I'm just going to go into a espresso, but I am going to blot it off kind of in that same area that I was blotting off the darker color, just so it'll pick a little bit of that up. And then I'm just going to go really blot it off over here. And I'm going to kind of go on the right side of the tree and kind of along that trunk bottom, and just kind of tap around it. Just gives some variation to the tree so it's not just totally dark. And then you can add more paint as you feel like you need it. Oops. So we'll just tap around. Like I said, I'm trying to stay more to the right side, but I'm going out into the middle some, but I'm definitely trying to be heavier on the right side. Okay. Now, I am going to take my light mocha, and I have that on your sheet. So it's just Americano light mocha. I'm just going to put a little bit out, maybe. And I'm just going to use that same sponge and work it off so it doesn't have a ton of paint in it. And then real lightly, I'm going to go along the bottom and kind of up that side. You can just re-tap on your paper towel when you want some more, but just kind of hold down your stencil where you need to and just kind of tap around at it. You can pull a little bit too if you want, but I mostly just tap. We'll have a few branches that we have to kind of join, bridge where they're bridged. But other than that, the tree's pretty easy and pretty fun to do. Okay, so now I'm just going to do some more. If you get like a blotch, it really doesn't show much by the time it's all said and done, but you can also use your finger and kind of smudge it out. I'll kind of show you what that looks like so you can see the variation it puts on the trunk. And I was getting the snowman. You can kind of see that variation. So anyway, so I'm going to flip that back up. So while I have this paint out, oh dear. I started to say, oh dear, I didn't bring my liner up, but I did. I'm nervous because I'm like, what else did I forget? So we can just go ahead and kind of just join those together, and then we can sponge. And then also when you dry brush, it really camouflages it. We're just kind of, I think we have 3 more places to do. But that just joins all those places together. And then, again, this shouldn't happen, but I just get to going so fast. And also, just no one has, or at least not in my world, is perfect. So you're going to get, from time to time, like you can get a little place that maybe, you know, like you can see that it's not smooth. Like, I was trying to see a good example. Like right here, it bumps out a little bit. Like, you don't have to stress over it. Just take your liner and you can fix it very easily. But again, most of the time that's because I am just going fast and not, I'm just trying to get my brush dried off and get going, and, or not my brush, like trying to offload the paint off my sponge and then just kind of fill in places or whatever, and I'm just hurrying. Yeah, so this is the size small, but you can also do it bigger. I think a bigger one would be really pretty. Like, what a statement. Like, it would just be really pretty. I have the perfect place for it. A really big one. I think it would look neat. But, like I said, this could be a really good gift. You could even take them to shows. I think it would be fun to take them to shows and just use even that little micron pen, and you could just have a sample there, and you could just, if you're don't feel confident about hand lettering or anything, like I'm not a great hand letterer, but you could definitely just add someone's initials. That would be very easy, or just a, you know, the year. That's not a lot of hand lettering. So I think that would be a really neat, like people love personalized stuff. I think it would be like a neat thing to have as a personalized item on your, if you were selling stuff. So I'm going to lay this back down and make sure it's lined up there. And I'm just going to take my sponge again that has the light in it, and I'm just going to kind of tap that off. And I'm going to go back to those areas and just kind of tap them a little bit, and then we'll do the rest with the dry brush. And then that takes care of our tree. until we dry brush. It is pretty fun. Now, if you wanted to make a division, like if you want to really show a division, you can definitely take your shader and kind of, if you're darker or something, just kind of go along that, or like a little bit of a light value as well, if you want to look like the trunk's going in front of it. So you can kind of do that. But the tree's fun. Let's see. We can do that here as well. That should take care of that for now. Okay, so we're going to take our dry brush. I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to put some white out and the light mocha. So you can kind of switch between the two or just use straight light mocha. It just depends on how much you want it to show up, I guess. Sorry, I'm crossing over here because I dropped my liner. Oh, I dropped it again. Okay, so I'm going to just get my dry brush and then wipe that off. I'm going to add a little bit of white to that. I don't think I want stark white. I just like it a little bit toned down. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of go up and down that trunk, and about right in here, I'm just going to make like a little swirl, and then if you worry about getting on the outside on your blue, it really doesn't show much, but if it worries you, it's super easy and fast just to, I did the most of it with my stencil down like I have it now, because then you don't have to worry about it. So I tried to stay, again, on that right side for a heavier look, so it looks like it's highlighted on that side. But you can just run that along the branches, and it's kind of neat because that stencil just kind of lets you glide along. And then we're also going to take another one, and I'm going to get a bigger one, and I'm just going to get in some black, and I'm going to do the same thing with it, but I'm going to use that more on the right side. So you can kind of tap it right in there, but then just kind of go up a little bit. And you can play with the tree, you know, as much as you would like. So I just lifted that because I want to get those areas. I'll fix that. So this, I'm kind of staying more on that right side and just bringing it down. Oops, that was not the right side. But that just gives some variation, and the tree ends up looking really neat. I think it looks neat anyway. So, like up here where we did this division, let's see. So I don't want to cover that up, but I do want to dry brush that to clear down. So I'm just going to cover it with tape. I need to pick up a little more paint. And then I'm just going to bring that down so it kind of comes down. And same here, because you can see that dark spot. So I'm just going to kind of bring that down like that. So you can swirl that around some more if you want it to look like, you can put a little bit of white on it and kind of swirl it again if you don't feel like your little tree hole knot, whatever it's called, is showing up good. Anyway, so the tree is definitely fun. Thank you, Prim and Painted Holiday, for sharing. So again, you can go over and add more highlight wherever you want. So you can just, now that your stencil's up, you can maybe see some places that you want more, and just go back and do that real quick. And then you're good to go. So there's my tree. Isn't it pretty? I said that like, I didn't mean it to sound like that. It kind of like, look at my tree. Isn't it great? I didn't really mean it to come out like that. I was just meaning like the variations. So, okay, let's put this back down. Good night. So I am going to put some tape here. I don't trust myself. That's what I said. I just get going too fast, and I don't want to get over on my tree trunk there. Okay, so now we are going to get in the white. I'm just going to almost out of white. All right, so this one has a good bit to fill in. We're going to start in the middle again, and get a paper towel. And then I'm just going to work in the middle pretty quickly and work out the best I can until I need to reload again. I got some brown over on the side of this snowman. I'll have to make sure I get that all covered well. So I did my other birdhouse navy. I don't know if I should use a different color. Does anyone have an idea of a color that you think would look good with this? Here, I'll show you this. See, mine's navy. So, what is a good color for the birdhouse? I'm going to tap that white while I'm there because it'll just help it cover better. I was trying to think of a different color to use. Thank you, Patricia. So I'm going to hit that, and then, well, it's cool in a minute. I'm tapping off paint again. I go back in, and then I'm going to hit my snow dots there after this. Oops, I looked over to see comments and it left. I was trying to see if anyone commented on the birdhouse color. Okay, we can take that off. I'll stick that over that. Because I don't think I will get paint on that, but goodness gracious, who knows at this point. So I'm just going to tap these dots, and we'll have to move it around and fill in some places otherwise, since my board is a little bigger. But we'll try to get some of those filled in. Green, you think green would look great? Like a celery green? I did the hearts down the front of mine pink, that vintage pink. I don't know. I even wondered, like, should I just left them red? I don't know. Okay. Burgundy? Purple? I see a lot of greens. Well, 3. That's all I can see on my screen. I don't know if there's more up through there or not. I don't think I have my sponge tapped off a lot. I hope I might have some little blobs there. Just trying to get him covered well so he won't see any of the blue through. I think one more round will probably do him. I think. Sounds like I'm pounding on the table. I'm really not. Something vibrating on it or something. Okay, I was making sure all my dots were coming out, and they are. So that's good. I think my snowman's good. I think he's covered pretty good. Janice, I have my birdhouse. This one is navy, and I had kind of like a khaki colored, an iced coffee colored roof, and then I shaded it so it looks darker. But I used navy on that, and I like how it looks. I just kept thinking, what else could I use? I don't know. I don't want him to look Americana, like just navy and red, you know, so that's why, I don't know. So, okay, I think we are done with that layer. So now we're ready to go to the next layer. I'm trying to tap around on my snowflakes one more time. Okay, looking good. But see, since our board is bigger, we can definitely throw in a few more snowflakes here and there. So I'm gonna put one there, but up in here, we can also use our little tiny snowflake stencil if we want, and you could definitely add some with that. But we'll just kind of tap a few here and there because I don't want it to look, you know, you don't want to leave that space just blank. You want it to look like it's snowing all over. Oh, I just hit the camera, sorry. How's that going to look on? I really whacked it there. Okay. Okay. Is that good? There. I think we have it. I think it's good. I'll put a snowflake over that. I'm not sure what it is. All right. I think that's good. I think. I'll get snow happy there. All right. I think it's good. All right. Let's move on to the next layer. That one over there. So our next layer is our scarf and hat and our arms and all that. So I think what I'll do, I put gray sky on your supply sheet because I shaded in it. And then after I was totally done, I was getting ready to go downstairs to put the rice on for supper. And I just kept looking at it. You know how you look at it and you're like, I don't know. I kept looking at it and I finally thought the gray just didn't look like, it didn't really even show up a lot. And I just didn't, there was just something about it. I just kept thinking, that doesn't look right. So I went back, like literally, I was getting ready to walk out of the room and I went back and I'm like, I'm going to try espresso and shade it with that. And that's what I did. And I thought it looked so much better. So that's why that gray sky is in there. You can use it if you want. But I did end up changing it to the brown. So anyway, so let's go ahead and before we overlay, and just go ahead and shade around him real quick. So I'm just going to get my brush, my angle brush, and some water. And this is, I probably should have sanded it. It's a little bit, I mean, I wouldn't say rough, but it's not totally smooth either. So I hope it does okay. So I'm just going right around the edges of him. I'm just kind of toning it down with my finger a little bit. But I definitely like the brown better than the black, or the gray. I don't know if it's because there's so much blue or what it was. I don't know. I just didn't think it popped at all. So I changed it. And come out a little bit and down that way. And same there. Right, I am going to scoot across that a little bit because his hat will shadow down a little bit. All right. So, we can go ahead and, where's my water spot on the snowman? Did I already get it? I must have already got it. Oh, keep trying, Cheryl. I think I would do red and change the color. I don't want to do, I like those two colors, but I don't want it to look Americanish. I don't know. Yeah, I could do a tan one. Or a gray one. I think that's what it said, gray. Okay. So now I'm going to get a stencil brush. And all of my stencil brushes, I used them today. And they were not dry because, well, I should have washed them sooner. So I had washed them and laid them by the fireplace, but they still weren't dry. So I was like, well, I think that one might be too big. So we've got a lot of brand spanking new ones today, which is always fun. Let me look over here. Here's one. So I'm going to use my vintage pink, and like always, I'm going to add just a little brown to it. So I'm just putting pink out. So that's the Folk Art vintage pink. And you can either use the espresso, or you can use mocha, the ice mocha. I think either one of them are pretty with it. So I'm just going to tap in the brown a little bit. And that just makes it a much more muted pink. And then for his cheeks, I really want to get as much paint off of there as I can. Even though you think you probably pretty much got it, it still ends up having some, more than you think, I guess. It ends up adding more color. So go ahead and throw those cheeks in. And then I'm going to put this in a baby white because I think, I'm not sure if I'm going to use it on my buttons or not. I might and I might not. I might change my mind. Okay, so let's put our overlay on. And it lines up pretty easy. You'll see, like, just line your birdhouse up over here. I pull it down just a tad so I don't have a gap between my roof and stuff. So I'm going to put it about right there. And I think that's good. Good grief, I should have just got a new piece, but I had that laying there and thought I would use it. Okay. So if you decide to put your heart in, I used ice mocha with a little white. And I thought it looked nice. And then this, if we use gray down here, I'm still going to use, I think, the ice mocha as the roof. I think that'll be fine. So this is the ice mocha. The arms are going to be espresso. And then I'm going to add a little bit of light mocha to it, just so they'll show up on the trunk of the tree, okay? Otherwise, the espresso would be fine. So we're going to lighten that just a tad. And then, I'm going to add a little light mocha in with the iced coffee. You could also just use burlap if you want. I just really like that iced coffee color. I just like the way it looks. So you can add as much or as little as you want. I think that's fine. Just a tad more. Okay. So I'll get me a stencil brush here, and I am going to go into that lightened ice mocha, clean my brush off, or not clean it, but take some of the paint out. I'm just going to fill that heart in and get that going. I just love that you can personalize this. I just think it's really fun. Okay, next we're going to go into a little bit of the darker. I'm going to swirl around on that. I'm going to go in to this espresso. Didn't rinse my brush or anything. You don't want to rinse your stencil brush while you're using it because you don't want it to be wet. I keep it really dry. But I'm just going to go down this right side and kind of swirl that around just to shade that right side and a little bit at the top. And that takes care of the shading on it. And then I'm going to go into the white, rub that off, add a little bit more, and then make sure you get enough paint off, and then just kind of go down that side, and that highlights that side. And that's how our heart looks then. And then we can dry brush that as well. Whoops. Well, I flipped it up there and took the tape right off. I should have just got a new piece. Would have probably been ideal, but I did not. Okay. So now let's go ahead and do his arms. So I'm going to use the same brush. I'm just going to go back in to the brown so we don't have to dirty up another brush. Okay, and so with that, I'm going to just put his arms in. I don't want to get in my scarf area. It's kind of close, so I'll put a piece of tape there because I kind of get carried away. Okay. See, I got carried away even though I didn't mean to. So I'm going to get in the brown some more. And again, just swirl that around. So I want to make sure this is covered enough that you can't see that line in the tree and the line over here. So I'm going to do those and then dry it and then do the whole thing again. Okay. So I want to make sure those are covered well. All right. So let's get our dry brushes that we put in the baby wipe while ago. And I am going to get a little more black in that, and a little more white in this one. So I am going to go along and kind of dry brush with that on there. I'm going on this lower part and then the right side up here to give some variation in that. And then, oh, I'm also going to go right along just a little bit on the edge of that heart to give it some more depth. And then with my white, I'm just going to come down and just pull it over the arms like that. So then, well, I have it taped down here. I'm just going to lift it up and show you, but add some more dark back in there. And then you can also add a little bit to his arms with our liner when we get done. Okay. Now I'm going to move that tape down and cover up his arms. And I'm going to use Cardinal Red. Don't fall over because I know I always use Tuscan Red. I had my Tuscan Red out. I'm like, I really like, I don't know, I like the Cardinal Red. I like how it covers. So it's folk art. But any kind of red, any red you prefer will be perfect. But I'm going to use Cardinal Red. So we're going to do his hat. It's a good thick paint. We're going to use his, or do his hat and scarf in the red. These aren't even broken in yet. Okay. So I said I'm going to cover up the scarf, but I didn't mean, or the arm, but I covered up part of the scarf. The hearts, I did pink on mine. Do you think I should just do them red? I don't know. I did them pink. Do you think they don't really stand out a bunch? Do you think I should just do them red? I thought maybe the variation would help. Maybe if I'd use the pink but not add any brown to it so they stand out more. Maybe that might be good. I don't know. Oh, well, that's okay. I was going to do that gray first, and I didn't. I was going to use gray underneath that. It kind of helps it cover better. And I forgot. I wanted it kind of so it would all be uniform in color and cover better. So we'll make it work. All right, let's give that a shot of, it's already 9:30. Of course, we got a late start, or I got a late start. I really wanted to be able to finish it tonight. But I guess we could finish it tomorrow night. I don't even know what day it is. Tuesday, right? Tuesday, I think. And see, my red's looking darker up there because it was on blue, and this down here was on white. So, I'll try to give the scarf an extra coat there. Alright, oops, you know what, I think I knew as soon as I did that, I'm like, I could feel the paint. Like, I had too much on that. And I knew it. I have a little spot right there. Red's the worst. Make sure that's dry. Okay, I think it's good enough now. For the most part, I think by the time we get it shaded and all that, I think it'll be fine. The coverage will be fine. Okay, what did we say? Oh, iced coffee for the roof. We can go ahead and do... I asked you about the hearts, but I don't know. Stay pink. I like them pink. I look over and my comments don't always move, so I'm not sure where I'm at over there. Okay, so I'm going to use pink, but I'm not going to use my brown, the pink that I added brown to. I think I'm just going to go just regular pink. Let's see what, it might not even matter, but that's what I'm going to do. Maybe they'll show up a little more. All right, put that stencil brush back in the baby white, and then I thought we had a brown stencil brush out. I do. I was like, what did I do with that thing? So I'm just getting in that iced mocha, and that's what I'm going to do the roof in, the birdhouse roof. There we have it. Okay, now we need to do the orange nose. And take all that off. It's always fun doing this, but it looks so, like it doesn't look very good, and then you lift that stencil up and you're like, oh. Okay, I'm going to use the brown stencil brush because I don't think I need to do any more brown. Don't think. So I'm going to use the one I had that light brown in. And I'm just going to kind of tap that in, get over there and fill in that into that nose where the colors change. I'm gonna pick up a little bit around there. Do that again. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to my dry brushes. So I'm going to take my white and black. I need some fresh white out. So I am going to put my black and a little bit of brown, so I have a really dark brown, and my white in white. And we're just going to make sure I have the paint up. I'm just going to kind of pull that down on the nose while that is in the stencil. And then with the black one, I'm going to kind of cover the end of it, and then along the bottom edge, more pull up. So it looks a little shaded along the bottom. And then I'm going to wipe that brush off and then do the white up here again. And then I'm going to pull a little bit of black down over it. And that should be good for his nose. So let's put our dry brushes back. And we will shade our red. I've got to find my soft black. I don't know where in the world it's at. I can mix my red and black just fine, but I do like my bottle of soft black. It works pretty well for shading red. So I'm going to take that black. It's kind of drying up anyway. And I'm just going to add that to the red I have out. I might need a little more red. Just to make a darker color to shade with. And I put enough out for 6 people. So there's our darker version of red, which actually just soft black looks like a wonky purple or something, and that's kind of how it looks when you shade with it. All right, let's take this off. Voila. Coming right along. What else do we need on that stencil? Anything? Oh, the bird. We'll have to lay that back over for the bird. So we can shade, like I said, the scarf and stuff. So I am going to, that is not the right shading brush. I looked at that and I'm like, that is not the right one. That's a junk one that I use. Okay, so I am going to do this because I bought this earlier and I'm like, I am not doing that again. Like back in the day, I would have never done this. I would have thought I need to just be able to do that by hand or whatever. Now, I'm just kind of like, you just use the resources that you have to get the results you need. So, I might need some more black in this. But that just keeps that straight across there. Because I kept kind of going down a little bit. And with red, it's so, like, red is, it'll bleed easy. And, you know, I didn't want it to look pinkish. So, I'm adding a little more black to that. Okay. So let's try that again. I'm going to fan that out on my baby wipe over there. So I'm just going right against that tape edge, and then that keeps it off of his white. Oh, I know what I needed to do too that I forgot. I'll do that in just a minute. I'll have to redo that edge. I'm going to come up across here to make the separation of the hat brim, or the hat band. And then, I'm going to come along the hat. I'm even going to go on this side. I'll also use some white over there, but I ended up doing this to my hat brim earlier, so I'm going to do it on this one as well. I'll show you in just a second. For the scarf, I'm just going to come right along. We're going to bring that across that to make that division. The hair on my thing there. Let's go down here. And then I'm going to go across that We're going to pull some other fringes on there. I'm going to kind of go across that line. And I am going to come up this side a little bit, and then we'll also use white. Oops. And I went out a little bit. But that's what I mean, that will kind of stain it. But you can fix it as well. You can just go back over it with white, but all right. So there is that. So I will show you what I did with the hat brim. I meant to do that before I got too far into that. Let me use this brush. So I kind of brought his hat brim down a little bit, just kind of cocked it down the end there. Came down a little bit on his, over his eyes, a little bit on that end, and then as well over here. So if you want to do that before you shade it, because I did it as an afterthought, and I meant to do that before. But by the time we dry brush and stuff, you won't be able to see it, that little line. Okay. I'm going to touch that with a little bit of white right there. Okie dokie. So I'll just need to go back and do the corners here. Just carefully bring that down. I do have a little bit of a line from my tape. Go over it with my fingernail. But I really don't think you'll see it after we get our dry brushing done. All right. So we can put the design on his hat and scarf. And he will be ready to go. So cute. Okay, I am going to bring this back up here. I guess I don't really need to do it across the top because my pom-pom covers that off, but I do want to put some heavier down this side. And finish up the scarf. And we got that up on there. Okay, almost got it. I'm being meticulous here. I'll bring that fatter out at this end because I want that darker. Kind of the same here. So like I wanted that like a wider area. Okay. So that is our hat. we have our brush in red. Let's see, that little cardinal goes right here, so that we'll add that, and then we'll add our other little cardinal. And you can make your birds be whatever color you want. It doesn't have to be red, but that's what we did, or what I did. Trying to get him a dark enough red here. So there is that. And then our last overlay piece has our wording. So you can put that love right there in the heart. Or you can, like I already discussed, you can definitely just personalize it and make it your own, which I think is just the funnest thing. So I'm going to go ahead and swirl that bird in. Gosh, it's almost 10. I guess we'll finish it up tomorrow night. I'm sorry. It's just a bigger project, but we'll finish it tomorrow night at 8:30. I'll go ahead and finish the bird here. And we'll finish up his scarf and stuff. I wondered this afternoon, I kept thinking, I wonder if we'll be able to get that done. I'm like, well, probably. But it's, you know, we still have a few things to do, and then the detail work. So we can definitely, it won't take as much tomorrow, or as long tomorrow night as we've been tonight, for sure. So, but we'll do the birdhouse. Where did I miss the birdhouse at? I guess I missed that on the first. I did it white, but I didn't go back and do the gray. So that's what we're supposed to do on that one, was the gray. So I can do that and have it ready. So, but he's definitely cute, don't you think? It's coming right along. We're going to add the detail to the scarf first of all. So let me grab my stencil. So the birdhouse, we still have to add the little hanging string or wire, whatever you want to call that. And this is what I meant by you can put love on there if you want, or you can personalize it. Sorry, I'm rattling these stencils around like nobody's business. Oh, the little birds, we have to finish those too. So we will work on all those. So you can line that bird back up, or however you want, you know, just make sure you have your stuff lined up. So I'm going to line the hat up, and then I'll have to move mine because I moved that up a little bit. So we are going to use white for this. So I am going to get a little bit of sky gray. I already have stuff out on my tray, but we're going to stencil that with a little bit of gray to start with. I am going to tape this down first of all, so I don't move it. I said so I don't move it, and then I moved it. And then I hit my head on the camera, or bumped it. Let me make sure I have that there. Okay. There we go. So we're going to use the white. I'm just going to get me a paper towel so I can upload and offload. Oh, I said I was going to do gray first. There I go. I thought I was on the right track and had already forgotten. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of gray underneath there just to make it easier to stencil over that red. So you don't have to do that, but I think it will be helpful. So we'll give that a little swirl there. Let me move that tray. Okay, now I'm not gonna change brushes. I'm just gonna wipe it off real good. And go back in my white and just really kind of kind of work that gray out of there. I don't know, maybe I should have changed, but I don't really want to change. I think it'll be okay. All right, I'm gonna make sure I have a good bit of paint out of it so I don't bleed. So I'm just going to kind of swirl that around, and we'll have to give that a couple coats to make sure it covers well. Okay. I'll give that a little quick dry, and then we'll go back in. All right. I am absolutely loving this stencil. I think it is so cute. Susan. Susan said she tried really hard, but she caved and ordered this stencil today. I don't think you'll regret it. It's a really fun stencil. Like I said, you can use it in so many different ways. So I think that that you'll be glad when you get it in the mail. I'm gonna stick this tape on here just so I can pick that up easier. Isn't that so cute? How you that little on on there is really cute. Okay, so now I'm going to line up my bird, which will line up this this place over there. That little, I keep wanting to call it a wire string, whatever. So I'm just going to get a little bit of black and then wipe that off pretty good. And I'm just going to hit that right down through there, and that is going to put our little hanger on there. And then as far as this, I'm going to kind of do it. I did the roof in ice, the birdhouse roof in iced coffee, so I'm just going to use that for the heart, I think, and the little perch. So I'm just going to use that. And we'll give that a couple swirls just to make sure it is a good solid color. So let's see if that shows up well. So we'll shade that a little bit. Let's I don't know, I thought about using a different color, but that's what I ended up going with. I'm going to use some espresso, put a dab of that out, and I'm just going to take my stencil brush right back into that and not wipe it off, and just swirl it around. And I'm just going to tap a little bit around on that right side, and then I'm going to get a little dry brush here, a little tiny one. I don't think that's the one I want. Hang on, that one has paint or something in it. Imagine that. Okay, so I'm just going to wipe that off, and I'm just going to kind of go on the left side a little bit, and a little bit on the dot. And I'm going to go back in. So it doesn't end up to be, that's like the base color, that iced coffee, but by the time we tap around on it, it's not so much. So you can do that with the stencil off too. You could actually just float it and get a good result. But so I'm also going to run this dry brush up and down that roof a little bit. But we're going to add snow to that and that roof, so that will be good. Let's shade that birdhouse a bit. Get my shader here. Move some paint. I found my Tuscan Red today. You know, I kind of had it missing here on the desk. I had another bottle up there, but I finally found it. It was laying right to the side. Okay, I am going to just dip in some white. I'm just going to make a really darker version of a gray, I guess. If you have some slate gray, a bottle sitting on your table, you can use that. But I'm just going to mix those two, and that will work for what I need it for. So I am going to scoot right along that rough line and right down the side, then kind of come out a little bit. And put some shadowing under the rough line there. Sorry, I'm turning. And then right across the bottom. Got a little bit on the blue. Hang on. Okay, and if you didn't watch last night, I pinned the supply sheet. It's in my link tree, so it's the first thing that will show up. And if you pull that up, all those underlying links are clickable, and that should be helpful. And has the paint colors and all that. So that should help. If you need that, feel free to take a look at that. And you can even print it. But if you want to use the links, just pull it up on your computer and click it. Just click on those links. Okay, now I'm going to get a little bit of white. And I'm going to go right up this right or left side. Tapping it with my finger a little bit, just kind of smudging it in. Alright. So it's not anything flashy in color. My other one was navy. I do think I kind of liked it in navy, but it's fine. I almost thought about putting some little checkerboard across the bottom, but I don't know if I have enough room. So we better just leave it alone. I'm going to get my liner brush and add a little bit of black on my cardinal. So this is optional. You can just totally leave him all red, but I am going to just kind of come down from his beak like that, and then just kind of come out and back in, kind of like a wonky triangle. He's pretty little, so you could even, if you feel like it's too little, you can also use your micron pen. That would be super easy to do with that. You just definitely use your pen. So I'll look over at comments in a minute. Okay, so we also need Sunset Gold, and we're just going to tap in his beak. And we'll also dry brush that bird just a little bit, and that will make a big difference too. But I'm just putting that on the very little tip of that, and just kind of touching it in there. It's so small that you can just kind of set your brush down. It doesn't have to be like a super precise thing, but anyway, so there is our bird. Okay, so on the hat and scarf, we're going to dry brush a little bit. Let me see if I've got anything. Oh, that would be cute, some birdseed. Oh, Jana said she got hers. Okay, we also have to put some snow down there, and I did not do that. I think I'll use, I think I'll use an angle. No, it's not that. I don't really like to use my float brush, my good float brushes, to do an angle, but I might. Oh, here's one that I could use. I like to use one that's not good. I love to use stencil or angle brushes for stuff like this and base coating and stuff because I just love that little point on it. So I'm just going to put in some snow down here and let that be drying. And then we'll come back and we're going to add modeling paste, which will add some texture to it, and then that will be glittered. But we're going to fill some in with some paint first. Now on the round one, I didn't do this because just the way, the nature of how the roundness came down. So I just used modeling paste and white on the whole thing, and then glittered it, and then in the trees, which I thought looked really pretty. I liked how it looked. But this one we will, you know, build up some places with the modeling paste. But just depends on what you're painting it on, whether you need to add any kind of a bottom or not. You can just do it how the stencil has it, with just some little snow drifts or whatever you would call that. Or you can, you know, make actually a ground. Either way is good. But on this one, just the way the board is, I thought it would probably be better to do this. If you really wanted to get bird happy, I love birds, you could even put a bird on the ground right there. I think Susan said bird seed, which would be cute. But you could kind of put a bird. You wouldn't even have to do it red. You could do, you know, a different... Oh, sorry. I just looked over and saw my whole head under there, and I did not mean to be putting my crazy head in the way. Sorry about that. It's so hard to stay back out of the way. But anyway, that would be cute. I don't know if it would be too birdie or not. Too birdie. If you really like detail, you could put a little chickadee down there. That would be cute. That would be really cute. Speaking of birds, I have, let's see, I have 2 window feeders that are clear that attach right to the window. They're fun. And then I have another big, like a hanging one that's bigger. That's kind of like let's say a cage. I don't know how else to call it. Wire around it so the squirrels and the deer, because the deer will stick their tongues in there and just drain it. So it has that around it, and then a suet block, like a double suet block feeder with the wire cage thing around it. And then I have a platform feeder, because some of the birds, like cardinals and all that, they prefer a platform. So anyway, I have a lot of bird feeders, but I love to feed them, and I love when it's winter and they hit like it's been so cold and snowy. I mean, we're still walking in and out because of the driveway and stuff, so we have to park at the top of the hill. But it's been just so cold and snowy, so they hit the feeders so hard every single day. I just fill them up a lot, and I just use sunflower hearts because it's right outside the kitchen bait out window, and so I don't use all the seed stuff, and I just buy the hearts so I don't have all the waste on the ground. It goes through a lot of seed, but it's fun to watch them. They're really... I even had some bluebirds yesterday, I think it was. They were all puffed out. They were so cold. So it's really funny. Okay, let's get... First of all, I'm going to take my 2 stencil brushes that I just laid down and put that in a baby wipe so they stay moist and not dry out. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my dry brush, and those are my Amazon list. There's like 18 in that pack, and they're not hardly anything. I don't know if they're $11 or something, but they are the best. I love them. So, and dry brushing can make such a difference. So that looks pretty flat. We already shaded it. But I'm going to take it and kind of pull it across. I'm trying to keep my head out of the way. So I'm going to kind of pull it across with the way that scarf is swooping. And it just makes it look totally different, I think. And then we're going to do the same thing. And I'm going to kind of go down the right side a little heavier, or the left side. I keep saying that tonight. Because that's the side that would be more highlighted. So I'm going to take it down the other side a little bit, but I want it heaviest down the one side. Like that. But I just love how that ends up looking. We also can drag a little more on the sticks. You can put it anywhere, actually. Now, on the hat, I'm going to kind of come down over it, but a little heavier on the left side. And then on the hat brim, or not brim, hat cuff, I'm going to take it, and I'm just going to kind of, let me put some more paint on it because I want it to show up well. So I'm just going to pull these little short, and then kind of go more straight in the middle, and then start curving it back this way on that end. And it just adds so much to it. And then we'll also take our liner and add some more solid lines there so it looks more ribby, knit ribby. And then we're going to dry brush just a tad on the bird. So see, he's just pretty flat looking, but just a little bit of dry brush across him just makes a big difference. So we'll do the same thing up here. And that won't show on that blue background too much, so you don't have to be super careful. Okay, let's see, what else do we need to do? Oh, I'll dry brush this because I redid that heart, and I was going to show you that now that I have the board down. So show you what I mean. See the differences? I kept thinking, when I looked at it, I kept thinking, oh, I don't know. I guess if it's been there a long time, it would darken. But a lot of times when you carve into a tree or something, you know, it looks more like this color. So that's what I was thinking. So I think I may change that. So I wanted to go ahead and personalize that today. And I decided to wait. And I was going to go ahead and paint it. And I'm like, no, I want to show you the difference. So I used coffee latte on that heart. And then I just shaded it with espresso and then some white over here. So that isn't on your list, so you can either screenshot that or just write down folk art coffee latte. I thought it looked like a lot better. Do you think it looks a lot better? Sherry, there is a, it should be pinned, or it should be in the comments. Whoop, I just lost my page there. You should find a link to my link tree. I'll try to put it in again. And it has a project sheet. So it has the link and the size to the stencil. And that should help you. So I just put that link in again. And I'm going to pin it so then you can see it. Okay? So that if you'll go to my link tree, Sherry, you will be able to see that. And it'll tell you the size, and the link will take you right to it. Okay. Sorry, I looked over there and saw that and thought I'd better tell her. Okay, so I'm going to take some white, and I'm just going to kind of swoop it right down that left side a little bit, and then wipe my brush off so it's even lighter and kind of go all over it. Okay. So, I think the heart looks good. Now, you can shade that edge a little darker if you want. You could definitely do that. I did it some, but I just tapped it in with my sponge. I didn't actually use my shader, but we can do that. It might give that a little more depth. I'm not sure if it will or not. Let me get some more paint on there. We'll kind of go around and see if it helps any. So, okay, now we need to add eyes. So let me get my dotting tool. Oh, there's eyes on the stencil, and if you want to use those, that is perfectly fine. So when you lay that overlay, you have eyes right there. If you want, if that is, that's probably, a lot of you probably think that's easier. I usually just tend to dot mine because I like, they're kind of a little bit raised maybe. So I tend to usually dot mine. So I'm just going to do that. Just kind of set my dotting tool down and get some more paint on that. And I kind of move it up and down a tad. And then I'll put another one right there. And now he has eyes. Okay, so we have, need to dry it. So I said last night you can leave no mouth on it, or you can put a mouth on it. That's totally up to you. On mine, I use like some X's, but you can use dots, or I can just do a squiggle. And I think I asked that last night. We can do it, you know, just, I was trying to find a piece of paper. So we can do it, you know, just kind of like that, with the regular mouth. You can use the dots or the X's. So I don't know. I didn't know what you all think. So, anyway. But, I'm going to add some slight, this is a 005 little micron pen, and I shouldn't have written, I usually don't write on paper with it, but yet I did. I usually don't do that, but I'm going to put some real scant little eyelashes there on him. And then, let's see, if you like the dots like Cole, I like squiggle mouths. Let's see. I like both hearts. The best is the second one you did. I do too. I think the second one just looks more natural. Every time I look over here, I'm seeing my crazy head. I am so sorry. I did not have good camera placements. I try to do different things all the time. Like if I'm doing a lot of snowmen for a show or something, I like to use all kinds of various mouths, and I usually do those three just because I think it looks, I don't know, I just think it looks good to have variation. And I just kind of like the different styles. But we can use dots if you want. I probably just do the squiggle the most, I would say. So, I don't know. Gail Mo. I can put that individual link in later, but if you look on that Linktree link, I thought I pinned it. You will find an Amazon list, and it'll be in there. Squiggle. I see all kinds, like dots, squiggle. I don't know. Probably what I do the most is squiggle. And a lot of times I just use a brush for that. I don't even use a pen because I used a brush for years. But you can do either. Whatever you feel is safest. But we will go on there. I'm going to put some fresh white, because I need to dot the upper part. Sorry, I know that's frying my head again. I'm doing the upper right hand corner of his eye. And then if I am going to do squiggles, I usually put like a little mark up there where I start. And then this one's going to end up more underneath his nose. But I just kind of come down and around and up. Sometimes a smile can make him look really cute, and sometimes it can make him look wonky. It's the same thing with scarecrows. You just kind of like, eh. So you just hope you get it right. I like to do dots on bigger snowmen because I like to shade them like they're little pieces of coal, and I like to put a little shadow underneath each little coal piece and then shade them, and I think they look really neat that way. Okay, I have some scant light, a light amount of paint on this, and I'm going to add some more paint because I think I had too scant. But you don't have to do this, but I kind of added some stronger, like, to make it look like a ribbed, like a toboggan ribbed. But you don't have to do that if you don't want. And if you can also dry brush over that if you want it to dull it down a tad, or you don't have to. And then we're going to use a pom-pom. There's a place on the stencil for his hat, and you can absolutely just stencil that if you want, but we're going to use a pom-pom. So let me see what we're missing. We need to take our liner on some stuff, and I think we've got it pretty much. Just need to do the snow. And we need a spatter, of course. So, I wanted to personalize it while I'm on here, but I guess I'll pop back on and do it because I'm not sure which one I want, because I want to keep one for Mark and I, and I'm not sure which one. I am going to get in the white though, and add some lines to the sticks. But I am having a hard time pick. I thought I liked the round the best because I kind of like the shape of it, but then I'm like, oh, I don't know which one. I keep going back and forth, so I don't know. I'm just adding some little swoops here and there to that. Just some highlight things. So, and then you can also go over on your tree and do the same things. You can add like some stronger lines here and there if you want. You can even divide out some of those little sticks from the trunk. But you can just I'm trying to stay more to the left side if I'm adding anything. I'm trying not to pick up a bunch of paint. Sometimes I don't have enough at all. So like there, I can add a stronger value, and I can also kind of run it along there and almost divide that a little bit. If you get it strong, I just hit it stuff with my fingers all the time because you can just dull it down real quick before it dries. But you can just go along and add some stuff like that. The tree's really fun to do though, I think. It's fun. All right. So now with our micron pen, I am going to do some line work again. Totally up to you. You don't have to. You can leave it. I think it kind of makes it pop a little more, so I just do some straights and some longs, squiggles. I kind of debated on this one. I kept thinking, I don't know if I'm going to do that or just leave it. But because I almost left it, and then I thought, oh, I don't know. I felt like it popped a little more. by adding the line work. Oh, I was going to pull some fringes there. What was I going to do? Oh, I was going to do this side of the hat. So that just, it kind of helps show the division a little bit. Bring it back around. And then go up and around, but your pom-pom will cover up some of that. The same thing on the scarf. So I didn't do the arms. I am going to do a little bit on the birdhouse because I think it will help it pop a little bit. But we will snow the roof of this, so we're not going to see a good bit of it, but we'll touch it up a little bit. Let's see, let me think. I think that's all. Oh, if you want, you can kind of hit or miss around the hearts. I think they're probably fine. I probably should have left them. I did them on my other one, but I think I probably should have left them because I didn't do very good on that top one. Let's see. I might even take, oops, my white. My palette is on the wrong side. I keep raging across. I'll fix that with that. So now we're going to spatter it, and then we'll do our glitter and stuff. Oh, I know what I forgot. I forgot his nose. His nose kind of stands off much better after you add the line work on it. And then you can even pull a few lines down. Okay. Alrighty. He looks funny without his hat pom-pom up there. So let me get a glove on. Yeah, he definitely looks funny without his pom-pom. And spattering helps a lot. Oh, I know what I was going to ask. I didn't know if I should add any additional snowflakes or just leave it like that. I think I'll leave it. I thought about taking that little snowflake in, just adding some little places, but I don't know. I don't want to scroll it up, so I guess we can just leave it. There's some really little ones on that sheet, and I just think they're cute. I guess I should have put it down here and used that. And I need a toothbrush. So I'm going to get a little bit of water. I don't want a lot because I don't want it to be soupy, but I need enough water to make it move and flick well. So I'm kind of give it a test there. I'm going to cover him a little bit. But I thought the spattering made it look really pretty. It kind of adds to the tree. I don't know. I really liked it. So I don't want to get it too much on his face. But it also looked good on the scarf and stuff too, just because it kind of adds a little bit. Alright. So we are moving right along. Alright, so now we are going to take some modeling paste, and I'm just going to get in there with my palette knife and scoop some out. I have to order some new. I am clear to the bottom of this thing, and I don't have a whole lot left. And I've had it for so long, like so many years, because I have a ginormous bottle. And I use it all the time. But I think right around the edges, it was kind of setting up in there. I'll make sure I have. I think that'll be enough, don't you think? That's probably too much. But some of it, see, like that, it's real chunky. It's right around the edge. So I definitely need to just get a new container. So it's pretty white. It's kind of a grayish white, but I can add any color paint to it. It is great to keep on hand because that, for those of you that haven't been around a while, it will make any color of paint a heavy-bodied paint. So you can mix any color with it and then have a, you know, like a thick-bodied paint. So that is the beauty of it, for sure. So we're going to use our palette knife to put it on. And then also you see me use an icing bag a lot. And that's fun to add, you know, add 3D texture using an icing bag. So my icing bag is pretty empty. And I was going to change it out earlier today. I thought, I think I'll go change that out. And I had to go get Noah up. He had to get up from his nap, and I never did come back and do it. But see, mine's empty. But this is a great thing to use, and we've used it so many times. So we used quite a bit, I think, when we did Bunny Bash last year, and I even have the couplers and bags on my site because they are fun to use, and we have done it several times. So I'm just checking my tip here. So I just keep them, once I fill this, I just keep it in my freezer bag. Keep it right here by my paint table. So whenever I need it, I just reach down and get it. But I usually, even though it's sealed and still good, I usually have to take something and poke out the hole because it will dry a little bit on the end, but no big deal. So I'm going to open this up. I'm not going to do it over my painting because I don't want to have anything get on it. So just a second. I apologize for not doing this earlier. And I could just use the spackle brush, but I mean the spackling, sorry, the palette knife, but I want some to squirt up here in the trees, like kind of more like snow. So I'll just put a little bit in there, and then I will get a whole new bag and redo that, because that has been there since last March. So what I'm going to do, if you look on this, it's on the stencil, so you can stencil those places on. So if you do the overlay, these are, you know, you just line it up, and these, you can just stencil that snow on there, so it will lay on the branches. But we're just going to use a palette knife, and you can do it that way, or I'm going to kind of squirt. So I'm trying to lean over so my head doesn't get in it. So you can just kind of squirt a puff of it up there, kind of like how snow would lay. And you can manipulate it even after you pull it up, pull your tip up. But so you just kind of squeeze it out and kind of just put it up there like that snow is falling on that branch and stayed there. And then we're going to shake glitter on that, which just looks really nice. And we can tap those little points back down. So then we're going to put some up here in the crook of this tree, or in the crook of the tree. And I'm going to kind of pull it down so it doesn't look uniform. And a little up that way. You could also stencil the places. Use the stencil and stencil the snow on there, and then use that as a guide if you don't want to just feel like winging it. You can just kind of do that. So use it as your guide, and then put your heavy body acrylic over it. So you can even add it to more places than that if you want. That's just kind of what was on the stencil, but you can add it a few other places. I added it on the arms, like some on the arms of my snowman. And I put it on the roof of the birdhouse. But I just tried to look at some places that I thought like snow would naturally catch and kind of lay. So I didn't put any on this side on my other one, but I'll put a tiny bit there. Okay, and then on the roof of the birdhouse is what I did. Just kind of to... So I'm just kind of bringing it down like that. But once the glitter gets on it, it looks really pretty because it gets all sparkly looking. So I'm going to take what's left and I'm going to add some places here, just kind of just add some texture down in here. And then I'll probably pipe a few lines. But I just want some dimension here and there. Some places to be higher than others. So you can kind of scoot it across the whole thing, but I wanted it white underneath because some places won't be solid. But you know how like snow, sometimes it'll kind of hoof up in places. So it's kind of fun to play in it and make it look like real snow, I guess. I'm going to go more scant there, and then I'll come back and build that up a little bit. It's just fun. It's fun to play in it. But anytime you can add some dimension or a different texture or something, it just always kind of adds to your project, I think. So let's add a little bit of a hoof there. Okay, so I'm going to take some more and kind of build that up there and make a swoop through there. But it's definitely fun to play in. So let's put them over here by the tree, like a more built up place. So you can, and don't like get real caught up in like, oh, there's a line there or whatever, because the glitter is going to cover a lot of that up. So then you can go on some of these places and, you know, kind of accentuate that and make it, you can put like a little bit of a snowdrift there. And when it dries, it kind of looks neat. Oops. That one kind of spit out on me, but okay, so now I'm going to take it up here. And you don't have to do this extra, it's just, I'm just messing around because I feel like it's fun. Just putting some different swoops in there. But like you might be going, oh, that looks funny. But usually, whoops, I just got some water on there. What was I going to say? Oh, after the glitter gets on it, it just kind of pulls it all together. And when it dries, then it looks really neat, I think. All right. So we have all of our snow, I think, everywhere we need it. And then we'll add his pom-pom. So I'm going to put my glitter tray under there, and I'm going to get my Mod Podge because I did these places up here, and the heavy body kind of, it kind of gets us, the skin of it dries pretty quickly. So I'm going to do this down here, and then I'll probably put a little Mod Podge up on the other areas that are probably already set some. I should have probably done those and then worked on the bottom. But, so I'm going to shake that off on the glitter tray. And now I'm going to just take a brush and just tap around on some of these other places. I'm just going to put some in that. And then just real quickly. And it might seem like, oh, it's a lot of extra steps, but it really does kind of set it off. And it doesn't take that long to do it, but it makes a big difference. Probably getting too much glue on that. So the reason why I like this glitter, I love glass glitter. Like, it looks so good. It's like, I was looking at our fake bakes we did, I think a couple years ago on our Valentines. And like, glass glitter looks so good on those because they sparkle so good, just like it's like a sugar. And on certain things it looks so good on, but like this rock candy glitter looks really good with this kind of stuff. And you can tap it on like wood places. So if I wanted to, I can, well, I can. I mean, just, you can almost highlight with it. I've showed you that on the prints. And it can add so much, where the glass glitter doesn't really look good on, like if you do this just on wood or something, it doesn't really look good, I don't think. But like, you can kind of bring that out on the snowman, and it ends up drying really nicely. You can put some down the side of the birdhouse. And so it's kind of fun because you can get creative with it and add a lot of sparkle. So I put some down the side. It might have dried. But the other thing you can do if you want is you can, I did this on my other one, you can just kind of quickly tap those dots. And those will pick up some shimmer and shine. And it doesn't look gaudy. Like, that's the other thing about, like, some glitter, it looks like it's chunkier, or it's, I don't like iridescent-y, which I don't like that look so much. I mean, that's just me. But, this just has this real subtle kind of a sparkle. And I just like the way it looks. And then when you pour it back over your glitter tray, then you can pour that right back in your bottle, and you don't really, it doesn't really take that much. So that, to me, is the magic of the glitter. So let me put the lid on this so I don't knock it over. Oh, we have to do the pom-pom. So let's put that into the glitter tray. And I smeared that glue. But it just sparkles really pretty. So let's get a glue gun and a pom-pom. And I'm just going to set that. Just put a little bit of glue right there. And then pull my glue string off. Kind of scrunch it down, and then we'll add some Mod Podge to that. So I'm going to tap it clear up here on the top and then down around. So it sticks to it and looks nice and sparkly. So cute. I just stuck my hand in it. Missy, why do you do that? So now I gotta fix it. Stuck my hand right in it, but it's fine. I can fix it. Always fine. So you fix it, and then just glitter over it. And it all blends back in. Can you tell it's not the first time I've had to fix something? So, then it's not. Oh boy. Okay, so there we go. So then around the top, which I shouldn't mess with it too much because I don't want to mess something up, and you guys know me so well. But I have this material in some, let's see, I pulled some stuff right before I went live from my little pocket thing here on the door that has all my supplies. But I thought that it would be really cute. Let's see. Again, I don't want to do it, but mess up what I've done. But because this board is shaped this way, I could definitely tie jute at the top. So let me cut this. So don't have it stuck here. I'm trying really hard not to mess up. So I will probably have to do this when I come back on and do the initials. But you can come over here and tie it at the side. Oh. I do not have the camera fixed well tonight. So I would tie it over there off to the side. And then just put like the rag bow, or not a rag bow, but you know, like the pieces. And I think it's going to look really cute like that. So I'll just cut those, you know, into some different strips and dunk them in the stiffener. And I thought I would use this. I love to use like different patterns and then like some of these, and I can trim it up afterwards. But I thought that would look really cute with it. Get enough different textures and materials there. I thought that would be cute. And then I'm just trying, I know it's not fixed right, but I'm just trying to show you what I mean. So then I'll tie it up there, and then those would have some glitter on them and maybe a heart in the middle or something. So I think that will end up to be super cute. So let me put the camera up, and I can show you what it looks like so you can see better, have a better idea. And I'm upside down. Okay, let me show you. So this is the one we finished, which it definitely can use the stuff around the top. And then this is the one on the round, so that might help you decide like what shape you like better. Thank you for the hearts. So, but it's really cute. It's hard to show both side by side because the way the camera is, but I will decide which one I'm going to keep, and I'll pop back on sometime. I was going to go live tomorrow night and do that other stencil, because I went these 2 nights. I'm going to have to skip tomorrow night because I have to do something in the evening with Mark, and I know I'm going to fall off the bench. But I'll come back on and I'll decide which one I'm going to do. I already traced onto some tracing paper the little heart, and was writing some different things, you know, like, so I can use that there. But I just can't decide which one I want to keep. This one's dry, so I'm gonna show you that. So you can put that and just you can scratch with a pencil on the back side and then trace it on there, or if you have graphite paper, you can do it that way. But I don't know whether to use the date or miss and mark, or mark and miss. I'm not sure how I want to do it, but I definitely like it. I think it's really cute. I just rubbed a little bit. I sanded the edges of that heart, and then I put a little bit of brown paint on a baby wipe, you know, kind of to stain it. Remember we did that to everything, but I thought I would do it to this. I'm not even sure if it will be, if it'll look right. It might be too small. So, anyway, so, I'm just going to add this at the top, and I think this will make this look better. I know the oval one is still, you know, probably way more appealing to everyone, but I still think that this is going to look so much better with a little bit at the top. The hot cocoa box. Oh, that's pretty. That would be pretty. Hey, Judy and Brenda. All my late night gals. You've heard me say before, I'm sure, that when Mark was a fireman for his, I don't even know how many years now, he absolutely loved his job. He left a plant job that paid really, really good to do that, and he loved it. But when he worked, he worked 24-hour shifts. So, of course, you know, he left at 7-something one morning and would come back at 8:30 the next morning. So, after the kids went to bed and stuff, I absolutely loved to craft and night owl. I just always loved it, and I think, I've told you that before too, I'm sure, I think probably my best ideas and my best creativity comes at night. So when he retired, it kind of put a damper on my creativity. No, I just don't get to do it that often. So, anyway, I would stay up. I could stay up. I can't see you, but I know you can't see if I keep ducking down. I'm just putting some of, hold up. Pause the story. I tore these little strips the other day, and I'm going to dunk them in the like the glue and water mix that I do. I just used it. You can use Mod Podge, or I use this tacky glue, and I just, you know, squirt some in there, and then some warm water, mix it up, and always leave it. So, but I like the way the material looks, so I think most of you know that, but we have some new people. Oh, of course, Angie. Oh, you're making faux candy, Bonnie? I absolutely love to make faux candy. Like several Valentines ago, we did faux candy. It was so fun. And cookies and stuff. And I have them out in my island on display, and I just think they're so cute. That's one of my favorite things to do, but I haven't done it in a while. Anyway, I forget what I was saying. I don't know. Oh, I think I was saying, so I would stay up at night and craft and do whatever I had to do. I'm was women's ministry director at church. I always had stuff going on, a project of some kind, and I decorated my house to the hilt back then. Like, I would do all the seasons and all the rooms, and it's quite the undertaking. I'd stay up late and do that kind of stuff, and I mean, it was nothing for me to run the sweeper, you know, wee hours of the morning, and you know, just lay down for a little bit and then get back up and shower and exercise, whatever I was doing, get ready to take the kids to school and start another day. Mark would come in from the station, and it would just be like, oh goodness. But yeah, I don't get to do that so much anymore. So I do kind of miss ratting around at night. I guess that's what I would always call. My mother-in-law would always laugh about me saying that. She'd say, as Miss would say, I was just ratting around today. So I'm just going to bunch a bunch of these together. Oh, there's some brown. I was going to stick some brown in there. But I did say that all the time. I'd just be like, I just love ratting around and doing whatever. The still of the night and not getting disturbed by, and when I say that, I don't mean it bad, because I feel very fortunate that I got to stay home with my kids and raised them and I enjoyed them. We loved snow days, and you know, just like it was just so fun. I mean, of course, we had our times where you could wring their necks, but they were good kids. I don't mean like they were bad, but it's just, we did have a lot of fun. So when I say the still of the night and it doesn't disturb, it wasn't because, I mean, you know, they were great. But I just mean, you know, anything, phone calls, interruptions, kids running here and there, cooking, you know, whatever. So also I didn't cook big meals or anything when Mark was in the station. We always had simple stuff like, you know, like macaroni and cheese or manwich or hot dogs or, I don't know. We just hung kind of loose on those nights, and I didn't worry about stuff too much. So it was fun. We had fun. So that is my bow so far. And I was going to put this heart, I think, in the middle of it. I think. But anyway, all that to say that I could just sit down and just craft away or come up with patterns and just, I don't know, so much stuff. It was pretty fun. So like when they were at deer camp this year and Shiloh was here, so we stayed up late and crafting and, you know, just the wee hours and stuff, and I love it. Okay, so there's my bow, and I can trim it up because I don't want it to interfere with my tree too much. I can definitely trim it some. Let's trim it upside down, see how much damage I can do. But this material that I stiffened, I can just kind of crimp up and pull out and kind of just scrunch it and make it look kind of neat, and it'll dry whichever way you manipulate it. So I was going to put this heart in the middle. I don't know if that's too hearty. If that's like too much heart going on, I don't know. Anyway, I even thought about moving the bow part over here, but I thought that was awkward on that side. But I could try to move it up a little bit, but I think it's okay. Or I could trim it more, but I could scrunch those. So I don't know. The heart looks good. Okay, Monica, thank you. I will glue it. I even thought about using a button, and I never did go dig one out. You guys, this room, oh, it just keeps getting, I keep thinking it's going to get better. This keeps getting worse. You like the heart, Cam? Oh, I don't want that over my bird. So I'm going to add a little bit of glitter to it, of course, because this is kind of shimmery down here, and I definitely want a little bit of shimmer to it. So, but I think that helps that a lot. I don't think it looks near as blank, because like with the round one, it kind of has that roundness all the way around it, and it kind of helps balance it all out. You don't have that big blank spot at the top. But with this one, you did. But I think I like that rag bow, or whatever you call it. I guess it's a rag bow. I'm going to maneuver a little bit of this red up, just so you can see it more. Work it around so it stands out a little bit more. Yep, that's good. I'll add a little bit of glitter to that. And then this one I was going to personalize, so I took my tracing paper. I actually did this the other day. I don't know what it's somewhere on this table and I can't find it, but I took the heart from that stencil and just laid it down, and then just, you know, traced the inside of it is how I did that. And then I just wrote Mark and Miss. I kept debating on whether I should use the year or what, but I finally decided on Mark and Miss. So you can take old school back in the day, if you didn't have graphite paper or something, we just colored, you know, you just color all over the back with a pencil, and then transfer your stuff on that way. Like all my patterns from back in the day all had writing on them or some kind of a tag. Like I've always used a tag 20 some years into it, you know, and I still love tags. But you can You can use a pencil on the back, or if just use a piece of graphite paper. I've done both many times, and it works. But I always keep like a dark graphite paper and a light graphite paper. So you can do that. Like you can get those at Hobby Lobby and stuff. But that's all I'm going to do is just, I'm just going to transfer that onto the heart. So I'm going to put that back there on the table. And then I'll transfer this on, and I just lay it down. I'll have to put on my wacky glasses. So you can use your stylus to trace that, or just a pen. I always used a pen. This is laying here. I can try it, but I don't know. Let me see if I have a pen. I don't even know if I do. I'm gonna ripple through some stuff here. I was trying to find a real little tiny that I felt like I had good control with. Hang on, let me see. I haven't used these over here. I just use my circular dotting tool all the time, so I never fool with these. But okay, so I'm just gonna line it up on there on that heart how I want it. Hopefully I've got it straight. Gosh, who knows? I feel like I've got Miss Crooked on here. Maybe I should write it again. I thought I had it good, but it, like when I laid it down, it looked like Miss is Crooked. So let me write it again real quick. I'm trying to write it neat, but like someone said, I think Stacy said that the other night, when you carve in a tree, it necessarily doesn't look perfect by any means. And that's true. I don't know, I feel like I go crooked every time I do it. Oh well. We'll just go with it and see which one looks better. So I'm just going to put the graphite underneath that. And then I'm just going to use this fine little stylus. Something stuck to my finger. And I'm just going to trace that on there. Now, you can totally just take your micron pen and just write it on there. And if it doesn't come out, you can either just paint over it or whatever. I just decided, like if, I don't know, it's just safer to do this. Now I'm going to look. I feel like my miss is crooked, so I'm going to turn it. I'm going to take this back out and turn the miss part a bit, because I got it whopper jawed a little bit, I think. I'll probably still have it whopper jawed, but anyway, this is a safer option. So used to use graphite paper, like I said, for everything. That's how you transferred all your lettering and any of your pattern things that you want to do. So there it is on there. And then I'm just going to take, so this is a 005. I'm going to see if I have, I was going to say I could use a 003. Let me see which one of these writes finer. Even though sometimes some pens are the same size, one will write a lot bolder than the other, but I might need it a little bit thicker than that. Let me try a 1. Not very thick. It's just some of them get pressed on and used more, and that one looks good. So we'll try that one. Okay, here goes nothing. We shall see. So this part's going to be easy though, because I'll say that and mess it up. Because for one, you've got to transfer it on, and for another, you're using a pen. So I could definitely use over a little paintbrush. I just think this is probably safer with my luck in my eye. So now I'm going to go over it again and just make it a little bit bolder. And I'm really tempted. I started just, you know, I'm so used to when I paint, I usually put slashes across the ends and the tops of my letters and stuff. And I started to do that. I'm like, that's not how you'd probably carve in a tree. You'd probably do it like this. But I'm going over it to make it look stronger. And yeah, I could use another pen or a wider pen. But also it kind of makes it look not as perfect, more carvish like maybe. Carvish. I make up words as I go. Alright, now we'll do the S. Almost done. Go back over them. I hope it looks good. Such a fun stencil. I really like it. Let me make my R better. Okay. The M in Mark is a little fatter, and the M in Miss is kind of taller, but I think it's good. Okay. Let's see. This one. Let's see what it looks like. Can you see that? So yeah, I'll go show it to Mark and see what he thinks about that. When I showed it to him last night, I held up both. I said, here's the oval and here's the square. Which one do you like the best? So I said, the girls on the page said I should ask you before I, decide which one I'm going to personalize. So he's looking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. He's like, I don't really know. They look kind of like the same. And then I didn't explain it well enough. He was looking at the snowman, like which one did he like best? And I'm like, oh no, they're both the same. I mean, their mouths were a little bit different, so that they're the same. I mean, like which one overall do you like the round one or the square one? So it was funny, but he said he ended up picking the oval. So anyway, all right, have a good Saturday. Tomorrow I think it's supposed to be rainy here and a little warmer, and then it starts getting colder Sunday, and then the extreme is supposed to hit Monday on Inauguration Day, and I have a hair appointment that day. Thank goodness it got canceled 2 weeks ago from our snowstorm. It needs cut and colored. So anyway, have a great weekend, and I will, I may even pop on. I'm going to be working on different things, so you never know. Never know. So I'll see you all. Bye.